Let's get more on this now with Andrij Dobriansky, who joins us from New York. He's the chair of the UN Affairs Committee for the Ukrainian World Congress. Welcome to the program, Andrij. Can I start by asking you about Mariupol? As we know, Ukraine has rejected Russia's demand to surrender the city, which has seen some of the worst attacks in this conflict so far. They include strikes on a maternity ward and the bombing of a theatre and art school. Have you heard from anyone on the ground there about the latest in Mariupol?
It's very hard to get direct communications with what's happening in Mariupol. It is, though, interesting the way that the Russians seem very confident about getting control of it. They seemed as confident about Kherson, and the situation in that coastal city is also deteriorating for Russia. So we don't know if this is overplaying their confidence, asking for a surrender now before the resistance gets too much for them. In the very end, it is expected that the Russians will do to Mariupol what they did to the Donetsk airport, which is completely destroy it, level it, and then claim that as their own.
We also know the Ukrainian president made an impassioned plea to the US Congress last week, calling on Washington to support a no-fly zone over Ukraine. The Biden administration has so far rejected those calls as it really tries to strike a balance between making Russia's assault on Ukraine as costly as possible while avoiding an escalation that could lead to a bigger and more dangerous war. As a leading figure of the Ukrainian American community, what do you make of Joe Biden's response to the conflict so far?
It has been incremental and it's going in the right direction. So while there are no planes over Ukraine right now, there will be the S-200, S-300 missile systems, the rocket systems that Ukraine has been asking for to do what the refugees are asking for. The refugees coming across to Poland are very openly saying, please cover us, cover the sky. That's the hand gesture they're using. And so these surface-to-air systems that Ukraine is familiar with, they're going to be facilitated with the help of the United States and other country so that Ukraine can shoot down even more of these rockets that are hitting civilian areas. We're also seeing these new deployment of Switchblade drones. That, in addition to the Bayraktar drones from Turkey, are really going to continue the damage on the hundreds of armored vehicles that have been destroyed so far by the Ukrainian military.
And the White House has announced that US President Joe Biden is due to travel to Brussels and Poland this week in a show of support for Ukraine and countries in the region that are dealing with the humanitarian crisis that's unfolding. What would you like to see from Joe Biden's trip? And do you think NATO and the EU are doing enough for Ukraine?
We always want more to happen. I think when President Biden visits, it's going to be important to him to visit with refugees, for them to say themselves how horrible it is to wake up in the middle of the night with your house being bombed. If he can get over as close to the border as the two Senate co-delegations went just this past weekend and the previous weekend, some of them walking into Ukraine, that would be a symbolic first. Joe Biden being the last vice president or president to ever set foot in Ukraine back in 2014. President Obama and President Trump refused to do that. So it would be very symbolic if he could do something like that.
Okay, Andrij, we will have to leave it there, but thanks as always for joining us on the program. We appreciate it.